Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. Welcome to the Artcast.
Yes, welcome. We are in our new studio.
Yes, that resembles part of my house.
Yep.
But I love it because it's comfy. I got some new pillows.
Yep.
And, eventually we're going to have a nice little banner that says Allie and Callie.
Yep.
And if we get...
So we don't forget where we are.
Exactly. And then someday we'll clean up the rest of this area and we'll sit at the bar like Hoda and Kathy Lee.
Yeah.
I know, I date myself because they aren't even on anymore. But
no, they're not. But
Jenna and...
we affectionately remember them.
I know, that's just... And we'll
because
do that.
they love to drink wine, and so do we.
I know, and so we'll sit at the bar in high chairs.
So I just want to say thank you to Callie's husband, Stu, for setting us up in the studio down here and giving us our own space.
Our own space to work, and eventually, and sometimes dogs will visit.
And sometimes you might hear the dogs.
Yeah, hopefully not. He's already whining starting. I shouldn't have even mentioned the dog.
Oh, Cooper.
He's basically deaf, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, right. Okay.
Anyway, today is Art Walk.
Today is Art Walk, and guess where we are?
We're in Boise.
We're in Boise. Wait, we just said we were in a studio.
You know what? Have you ever seen The Matrix? Like we're in like another dimension. And we haven't had...
I knew that!
I love how this has started. This is perfect. Anyway...
Oh
saw that coming.
We are pre-recording this because we are on a trip to Boise.
Right. So we're not actually there, but we will be there.
We will be there, and we've got a great trip lined up. We are very excited for our little trip.
Oh, my God.
We can be in two places at one time, can't we? I bet we could do it. Anyway, so anything else you got?
Nope.
Okay, I think we should just go right into our guest. He's a dear friend of ours.
He is.
That we love. Oh, we love him. Jimmy.
Yes. Jimmy Lewis. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
So tell us, when did you meet Jimmy?
I met Jimmy when we were doing, for the Arts and Culture Alliance, the Mardi Gras. And Jimmy and his wife, Lisa, came and volunteered for many years putting on the Mardi Gras. And what was so great was Jimmy actually grew up in Louisiana, so he was very familiar with the traditions, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Because Jimmy puts on a crawfish boil that we want to promote that's coming up. Jimmy, tell us about Louisiana.
You and Louisiana.
Oh, my. Where do we start?
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in a little town called Roanoke, Louisiana. All of 600 people.
600,
and I lived next door to my grandparents, my dad's parents. And it was an awesome time to grow up in the early 70s, late 60s, and run around till the street lights came on, drink water out of the garden hose, and never wore helmets riding bicycles.
Right.
But I grew up, my dad was a mechanic, loved to cook, and he learned a lot of the cooking that he would do from old Cajun men. And none of my family is Cajun, but everybody around us was. So learned how to prepare gumbos, boudins, jambalayas, any of that. And we used to go crabbing a lot, and we'd do crab boils as well. We had a camp on the river. I mean, I had a very
Is that
awesome,
the Mississippi River?
No, ma'am.
Which river?
The Calcasieu River.
Calcasieu.
Oh.
The Calcasieu River goes into Lake Charles, Louisiana. So we had a camp up there for years that we would spend time with. Fish fries. Go catch a bunch of catfish and then do hush puppies. And that was the tradition every Friday at the camp. All the people in the area there would get together and cook, clean, what have you. Mm-hmm. And a couple of beers passed around, for sure.
Of course.
But it was it was an awesome way to grow up and experience that back and forth. My mom at one point had a art store and taught art, started out teaching private lessons in my bedroom on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I couldn't even go into my bedroom until after 9 o'clock. And it smelled like turpentine.
Oh, boy.
Until Dad built a studio.
Right.
And the art store that's such a small town, it was hard to support. But that's about the time that I started getting involved in speech and theater, and I did that up until the time that I moved up to Idaho. I was big into sports. I played football, rode motorcycles a lot. So it was a very awesome place to grow up and a time to grow up. The schools that I had to go to they combined two towns to make a school district big enough to have a decent-sized school. So junior high or 7th and 8th grade was in the town I lived in, and elementary and high school was in Welsh, the next town over, which they only had about 1,800 people at the time, I think, is what
Oh, wow.
that population.
But it was a little bigger.
That's where they had actually a grocery store and gas stations,
Oh,
which we
wow.
did not have in Roanoke.
How far were these little towns from New Orleans?
Roanoke's almost 300 miles because of how far down it is. And it's situated right on Interstate 10, a dead center between Lake Charles and Lafayette, the two bigger cities.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So it's about 50 miles to Lafayette and 30 to 35 to Lake Charles. Anytime we went anywhere, just hop on I-10 and go. It was pretty tiny. It was interesting growing up in something that small.
Yeah.
But you knew everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think there's some upsides and downsides to that, but it just, especially in the South, because I grew up in Virginia, but those smaller towns there's just such a sense of community.
Yes, very much so. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get away with anything because Grandma and Grandpa lived next door.
Right.
What's Jimmy doing? What's Jimmy doing? Oh, he might not ought to have done that.
That's right.
But there was a group of us. We were all pretty close to the same age. Within 4 or 5 years, a bunch of boys. We played a lot of basketball on a dirt court in Old Man McCarty's driveway, which his claim to fame was he raised cows. And every young man in Roanoke for years, their first job was baling hay for Mr. McCarty at 3 cents a bale.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was just a bit. So that aspect and growing up in that environment was awesome, but we got to experience quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got exposed to a lot of French culture. Louisiana was trying to, I guess I was been junior high age, so about 12, 13. They started a program that was called the Codafil program, and it was to bring teachers in who spoke French to teach the elementary kids to keep the Cajun language going.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we had teachers from Belgium, France, Quebec, any place that was French speaking. Of course, Mom being involved as she was in the arts community, we would have a couchon de lait and invite all the French teachers from the parish.
What's a couchon de lait?
Pig roast.
A pig roast. Okay.
And we had it out at our farm because we raised pigs at that time. My dad always wanted to be a farmer and never lived on a farm, so it was kind of interesting. But that was a good experience and learned some different cultures, and I was very blessed to be exposed to a lot of that stuff in such a small town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting.
So you learned a lot of the cooking. Well, I mean, you do an amazing crawfish boil. You learned that from your dad? Did he do that? Mm-hmm.
Yep. In fact, one of the pots I always used, what I ate out of as a kid. It was
Really?
Dad's pot. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I still have that one.
Yeah. That's where, they don't make them like they used to.
That's right.
They last for a while.
Yeah.
So tell us about those mud bugs.
Yeah.
What exactly are they?
Well, There are crawfish everywhere in the world. Idaho specifically, I think the last I checked, has 8 different species. The ones that I ship in are an invasive species. They're very aggressive. They're called a red swamp type, I think is what their species is called. I don't know the Latin term.
That's okay.
But they're very aggressive, and they'll wipe out other types.
Oh, really?
So I started doing this, oh man, just as I used to do gumbos at my house years ago.
I love gumbo.
And we just kind of wanted to get into doing crawfish. And once there were places out there that made it convenient and easy to get it shipped, then it was easy to do a crawfish boil. So once I found that, then I would invite friends over, and I started small. I'd 15, 20 people over, have about 60, 80 pounds, and do that. And it just kept growing. Everybody wanted to come. And what initially started for us to do it as a charity and charge for it was not everybody wanted to put in the pot for the bill. You know, we'd have a bucket over here. It's like, hey, throw your money in the jar for whomever. And a couple of years there, I lost money doing it. And I'm like, you know, we're going to approach this a little different way.
Yeah.
So that's how it came about to do it as the charity.
Right.
We've been doing it, about 7, 8 years now, or something like that.
I want to say at least 6.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying
because
to
your wife, Lisa, was still alive when we started it.
Yeah.
And
that's been 4.
Yeah, so it was probably 6, at least 6.
Yeah, or 8. Maybe now we'll put it in that perspective.
Yeah. I think it is 8 because I think we did 3 or 4 with her.
Ever feel like work and life are pulling you in opposite directions?
You are not alone. That's why we created Thrive, Learn, Connect, a podcast where personal growth meets professional success.
Each week, we share real conversations, insights, and actionable takeaways to help you navigate life and work with more ease, joy, and purpose.
Whether it's managing stress, building better relationships, or finding balance, we are here to help you thrive.
Listen to Thrive, Learn, Connect wherever you get your podcasts, because growth starts with connection.
So now we're doing the crawfish boil as the Lisa Lewis Memorial Crawfish Boil for the Arts.
Correct.
Right.
May 17th. And it will be held at the
Elk Point.
Elk Point.
Also known as Stella's on the Hill.
Stella's on the Hill. What a pretty place to have it.
I know.
That's going to be awesome.
It is a beautiful venue. And we did it the first time there last year, and it worked out quite well doing it up there.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
And the staff there is very helpful. And
So tell us about what it takes to, some people have never been to a crawfish boil.
Right.
I know the first time I went, and I had worked on the Mississippi River, so we had done crawfish and did the paper on the tables, and we did it on the cruise ship in the mess hall for the staff, so, and I was like, oh, they're just putting it on the table. What is happening? Where are the plates? What's happening? So tell us more about the whole shebang. How does it start?
And why?
So the starting of it, it's because the Cajuns don't waste anything.
I love that.
Of course, that makes sense.
That's smart.
And they eat damn near anything.
That's true.
So we grew up very young doing crawfish boils. One, they were cheap. And it was a gathering. Friends and family get together, and you always had meals and things of that nature. It's an event, which is what I like to create it as one. I enjoy doing that aspect of it. I've always been involved in doing something similar between the crawfish and the Mardi Gras stuff that I used to do. But that's how I really got into doing crawfish. We had some guys that catered in our Mardi Gras crew, and we would always do a boil. And I learned a lot of techniques from those guys.
Yeah.
We had a car trailer, basically. You could boil 1,500 pounds of crawfish at one time, which is nuts. Doing it on a much smaller scale like we do now, it's manageable, but it's a lot of fun. And like I said, a lot of the techniques and everything I learned from those guys.
Right.
And my dad growing up doing it. And
So what's in your boil? You put what's your veggies? What do you got?
Well, we put little taters in there. There's some corn.
Garlic.
There's some a lot of garlic.
A lot of garlic.
Carrots. A lot of mushrooms. And that's about the extent of what we put in it these days.
Sometimes you put in the andouille sausage.
Yeah, I decided against doing the andouille anymore because everybody would go and just eat the sausage.
Yeah. What about the crawfish?
And that one year that I did that, I had like 90 pounds of crawfish left over for the next day.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember that.
So I'm like, we want to readjust.
Right.
And it has been an adjustment in figuring out how many pounds to actually order for what people will eat here. Because I tell my friends down in Louisiana, it's like, oh yeah, I said I'm ordering like 3 pounds a person. It's like, man, that'd just make a bunch of coon asses pissed off.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
We're a bunch of babies up here.
Yeah, we are.
We just can't handle it. I know. When I tried it, I was like, so damn hot. That's my problem. I'm like, ooh, it's hot. It's Cajun hot. Woo.
So yeah, it's been an experience learning how people here, because they can't even they can't shell them as fast as what
Right.
somebody who's an expert can.
Yeah.
I always
And-
love it when you give the little tutorial on how to take the
The hit.
shell off and suck the head and that whole process.
I enjoy doing it
You can tell.
Yeah.
because I really like to see new people's faces when I do that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you haven't done this before?
Oh.
Allow me
watch
to
this.
show you.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun doing it. I love the experience. I've always liked to entertain. I miss doing it by myself now, but it's something I'm still passionate about and enjoy doing.
I know you used to do it with the kids at Sorensen, right?
I did. For several years, I had the third grade class at Sorensen because they had a section, if you will, or chapter or whatever, however they wanted to describe it, on crawfish. And one of the teachers approached me one time and says, hey, would you teach the kids how to eat crawfish? And I'm like, sure, I'd love to. Who's cooking? And that was like, oh, light bulb went off. Like,
I guess.
yeah, I guess I am.
Oh, fun.
So that went on for 5 or 6 years as well.
Oh, I think those kids probably just got the biggest kick out of that,
They
too.
did. What was nice is at Sorensen, because some of the kids in my neighborhood actually went to Sorensen and had been to my crawfish boils at home, knew how to do it, but they had already experienced it at my house, and then
Right.
they were in school. They're doing it again. It's fun to watch their interaction with their classmates on how to go about it.
That's fun.
Well, take us through the process. So I know you get these huge styrofoam coolers filled with live crawfish that
Yes.
get shipped to you.
So we order them overnighted to get them here, and there's generally 30-pound sacks in each one of those coolers. And the way crawfish hibernate in the wintertime, so that's why they can ship them live. They keep them cool and damp, and they go into almost a hibernation mode. So they get real still. Now, when you take that off and you put them in the heat, then they're really lively again. But
Yeah.
I mean, you rinse them, you boil all the potatoes and veggies, and I throw everything in but the corn to the last minute and get that boiling. You dump the sack of crawfish in, and once they come to a boil, you let them boil for 2 minutes, and then you turn off the heat and let them sit in it for a little bit. And then I generally dump them into the cooler, sprinkle the seasoning on them again, and let them set for about 15 minutes. And then they're ready to eat.
And then everybody gathers around the table.
and then I pour them out on a table.
Yep. And then you see the feeding frenzy.
That's right. And I actually have a video of doing that, which we'll put on our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And you always play good music, and it's just...
I try to have some Cajun music going.
Yeah.
Continue that tradition.
Mm-hmm. It's always good. It's a good time.
It's a good time.
Yeah. I'd like to try and see if we can get some sponsorships for some of the stuff to help offset.
Yeah.
I have to start working on that a little bit more.
Yeah,
so
that'd be awesome.
it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work.
I am exhausted after the end of it.
Yeah. But Callie and
worth it.
I and Kristen have all helped doing this in the past, and we'll be there on May 17th this year.
And it's
helping.
usually like 1 to, or is it noon to
I usually do it like noon to 6.
6,
something like that.
Boy, and the weather's always like,
sometimes it's great.
Was it nice last year? I can't remember.
It snowed on us.
Well,
It kind of rained a little bit off and on.
oh man, we've had it all. It's been cold and rainy and sunshine and so hot you burn. Just crazy weather, but it's such a good time.
It is a good time.
You gotta go. If you've never been to a crawfish boil, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's a worthy cause.
Yes, it is.
And you want to donate to the arts because they need it.
Yeah, Jimmy donates the proceeds to the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance in Lisa's name, which is really awesome.
Yes. Yes, awesome.
That it is.
Greetings, listeners of the Allie and Callie Artcast podcasts. This is Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. Keeping art alive and culture relevant is the heart and soul of our community of creatives. And as a local coffee roaster who loves a good origin story of a painter or a farmer or a musician, we proudly support the Allie and Callie's Artcast podcast's expansion and exploration through positive conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, preferably one from Tubbs Coffee Roasters, and tune in, humans. Your ears will thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Mardi Gras.
So Mardi Gras for me in our region, when I was young, we didn't really celebrate it much. It really came about a little more so later, because it was more the Cajuns that really celebrated it. And everybody thinks of Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I don't know if y'all saw my Facebook feed this year for Mardi Gras. I posted one from Mardi Gras in Welsh.
Oh.
The old Cajun style. Where the old traditional Cajun Mardi Gras, they would go around, they looked like dunce outfits, all colored, and they would ride horses and wagons, and they'd go around town and collect the fixings for the gumbo. Normally that was chickens. So then they're chasing chickens to catch the chickens to put in the gumbo.
Oh, fun.
So they would go around to everyone in the community to put together the gumbo, and then they'd have a feu de dos, or street dance.
Oh, fun.
At the end of it. And that was the Cajun style Mardi Gras.
Oh.
It got commercialized.
Oh, yeah. Did it.
Yeah.
Because of Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, really?
Not because of New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Interesting.
In Mobile?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's this huge
Now it's this huge
craziness.
thing. Right.
Well, it's also, most people don't realize that in Germany it's called Fasching. In South America it's Carnival. Mm-hmm. It all revolves around King's Night and Lent.
Lent.
The beginning of Lent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why it changes, because it's also in the lunar calendar. This is why the dates change all the time.
And isn't Ash Wednesday is the day before Fat Tuesday, which is Mardi
Day
Gras.
after.
I mean, the day after.
Right.
And it's 40 days from Ash Wednesday to Easter,
Right.
because that was, I believe, that was the 40 days that Jesus was doing his thing out in the desert.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That just hit me funny. I was like, she's just doing his thing. For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
PyramidPrintingCDA.com.
Old school. Get on it. Good job. From my
So back years ago, we did Mardi Gras. We did Mardi Gras for like 10 years. And that was so fun.
It was.
We started at the Eagles and ended at the Eagles.
Yeah.
And had a brief time in the Coeur d'Alene Plaza shops where we tried to transform the plaza shops into feeling like you were actually walking around.
In Jackson Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work. It was
A little bit, just a little.
It was a lot of bit of work, but it was super fun. It was a great
super
party,
fun.
and people still talk about it, and they miss it. I've had more people say, "Oh, when are you guys going to do the Mardi Gras?" And I'm like,
Never.
and
Go to New Orleans.
Yeah,
and you
I
know
got
the
it.
people here, that just really not something that they focus on in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it's only transplants or what have you that
Yeah.
that come and kind of shove that at you and say, "Hey."
Right.
"Yeah, why don't you do that?"
Well, yeah. And
February's hard here.
Yeah.
it is.
It's hard. It's cold,
We had
and it's
too many snowy days.
Yeah, it's rough time, but it is a fun party.
Yeah.
It is good music, good food.
We did the Cajun cook-off where we had
Yeah.
restaurants come in and we had judges go around and judge the food, but we had the People's Choice Award where people would walk around and try, and that was actually really cool.
Yeah, super fun.
Getting lots of different versions of Cajun cooking.
It was.
When was the last time you were there? Back down south.
This time last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ride down or did you?
No,
fly?
that time I drove down.
Yeah.
My daughter turned 40, so I had to be down there for her 40th birthday
That's nice.
with a little side trip into New Orleans to
Yeah.
pick up some motorcycle engines.
Oh. Oh boy, you and your motorcycles.
I know.
Oh, you still love your motorcycles.
Well, my Instagram is Modus Dude.
Modus Dude. Of course it is. And the Venmo to get tickets for the crawfish boil is mudbugs.
Mudbug CDA.
CDA.
Mudbug CDA. So
Right.
yeah, eventually we want you to get your tickets.
Right.
We'll put a link somehow. What are we going to do?
We're going to have a page on our website.
That's how you'll do it.
AlleyCallieArtcast.com/crawfish boil,
Yes.
where you can get more information about the boil,
Yes.
where it's going to be, when, and how to get tickets right there on the website.
Yeah.
And I'll also have that on my Facebook page, which I have a lot of people that attend.
yeah,
And,
you've got some.
Get to it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Lots of friends.
Yep.
They'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a good time.
And I know that the ticket price is based on the price of the crawfish. How is the price looking these days?
Right now, I'm guessing we'll probably be around 45 for a ticket right now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay with that from what I'm seeing price-wise now, because the price is coming down a bit.
Awesome.
They had a rough start to the season because of the drought that they had,
Yeah.
but that was soon fixed with all the rain.
Yeah.
Right?
Bit of rain, definitely.
Just a little.
And they had 10 inches in Lake Charles, which is only 30 miles from the Gulf,
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
which is where my mom and daughter lived still.
Well, let me tell you, if you've never had crawfish, you should definitely go, because Jimmy does a great job of getting you excited about breaking into those shells and sucking the head off of that little bugger.
It's super fun and
It
spicy.
is, but it's a
Yummy.
great tradition.
Yeah, it is.
And I try to always have a keg of beer donated to be able to sell for people to
Oh,
have
right.
that. Stella's doesn't have cocktails. They only have beer and wine.
Right.
Oh, right.
So just so people know that
Beer,
that'd
but
be
beer
good.
is really the drink to go with the crawfish boil, seriously.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, what a great location. I mean, weather, even if it's kind of cloudy or whatever, what a view. If
Right.
you've never been to Stella's on the Hill, that's an amazing view of Coeur d'Alene and the lake. And, what a great spot to have a community event that celebrates our friend Lisa and the arts. Oh, it almost
She's
happened.
going.
No, I'm good. It didn't happen. It almost happened. I'm good.
Well,
So-
Jimmy, we're really looking forward to it, and we will
we'll
be
help.
there
And we'll
doing
help.
our part.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it as well, and hope everybody will come show up, support the arts, and eat some mud bugs.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And be sure to let Jimmy know you're coming early, because
He needs a head count.
He needs a head count to
For
make
all
that.
those mud bugs.
That's right. To make that order.
What's the word I want? Bon temps? No. What's
Laissez les bâtons rouler.
what
There you
he
go.
said.
Let the good times roll. Woohoo!
Yes,
Yes.
sirree. That's what he said.
That's right. Thanks, Jimmy, for being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy.
We're excited.
Yeah.
And I'm Allie.
I'm Callie, and whatever you do today, make sure it's creative and try something new.
Try something new.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is brought to you by Tubbs Coffee Roasters, ethically sourced, locally roasted coffee, and Pyramid Printing and Embroidery, serving customers near and far for over 2 decades.